or another item on the agenda. So perhaps, I see Robert Wright sitting there. Do you want to do the regulatory services building consenting unit report? Yep. Would you like to come forward? And we'll go to item 16. Sorry, I'll just open up my... Right. We can take this as read. Is there anything that you wanted to highlight, Robert?
Just a couple of things quickly, because obviously the consenting timeframes have been topical. You can see there that from there's two tables, one ending June and another one for July. All of the KPIs except building consent processing are in a pretty healthy position, and on building consent processing you can see a marked improvement from 1 month to the next, but we still have significantly high volumes of consenting applications, and most of them are reasonably complex. So that still is quite a workload for staff to deal with, but the process is improving. Also in the report, there's two tables of information that were requested of the previous committee, one looking at community housing. There was a request to break down some community housing construction over a 2-year period. That is provided in under item 6. So identifying last financial year 8 community housing new units were built, plus an additional 209 by Kaingoroa, and of the other housing units constructed in the city, there were 4,356. When you compare 22 to 21, you can see why it's been a busy time. Probably an increase of 1,400 new homes built between those two financial periods. Also requested of us was some subdivision activity, and the second table there identifies the number of new allotments created across the two financial periods. The table identifies those allotments created by Kaingoroa, and then the other allotments, and once again you can see a fairly significant increase from 1,935 in 2021 year to 4,436 new allotments last financial year. So it's that residential activity that's underpinning a significant amount of growth. They're probably the main points from the report, but I'm happy to take questions on anything.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, and I think it's kind of a stark presentation that enables people to see the extent of the increase in applications. Tim.
Thank you, Robert. With regards to the Kiwi Bank analysts, the Reserve Bank analysts and Westpac analysts are saying that there could be a surplus of property within the next 12 to 18 months. With this kind of build, what would your thoughts be on that? Have you seen any shaking or any trembling with regards to slowdown? Obviously, this is going the opposite way.
I don't like that shaking and trembling terminology in a report that has earthquake pro buildings, but our forecasting in terms of consenting activities, which I think is consistent with some of the forecasters that we keep an eye on, is probably about a 10%, 7 to 10% decrease in residential consenting activity. So, yeah, in terms of allotment, creating new allotments, I'm not sure what that impact will be, but there certainly is a view here that there is an oversupply of housing, but it may not be oversupplying the portion of the market that needs the housing.
Yeah. Because earlier, some time ago, we got a report when we were looking at Airbnb about some individuals having large numbers of properties, but they were empty because they were exclusive. They were going to use them exclusively for Airbnbs. So I guess these numbers are purely with regards to social housing.
In the first table,
Yep.
the community housing is identified, and then Kāinga Ora community housing.
Yep.
The other is all of the other new dwellings in the
Okay.
in the city.
And just to clarify, the lots have been they've been given so they are able to be built on, but they are only lots. They are the first table with the 4573 are actually dwellings being built.
Yep.
But the second table, the 4497, they are lots that have now been given.
New allotments created by way of subdivision.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but are yet to be, the building consent is yet to be applied for. So there are lots.
Some of those lots will have
Okay.
builds on them.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yanni?
Thank you. I see that MB has granted an extension for the insulation requirements, which is nice, because there's too much pressure, which I guess is not too dissimilar to some of the other issues we're facing at the moment. But it's good that they've done that. I just wanted to check though, with the changes to the planning laws that are coming in, I guess as soon as we decide to notify, what's the implications in terms of building consenting? Like what assessment has been done around the impact that will have on our consenting?
Interesting. Some people are suggesting there could be a surge in consenting activity. I personally don't share that view. We haven't analysed it to a great extent. When we look at the multi-units that are being built now under resource consent, I don't know if that not requiring a resource consent will necessarily result in a surge of new builds. Right. More than likely, the deadline for change of insulation requirements would probably have a bigger impact on applications for new builds.
In that people would rush to do it before the new requirements come in?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, there's going to add a significant cost to a new build. I'm not sure what it would be in terms of insulation, but in windows, it could be double the cost of windows alone on a new build.
So if we do get into a situation where we do see a rapid increase of activity, how would we mitigate that given the current stresses on the consenting staff?
I think we will see one area go down and another area go up. So our low and moderate complexity applications are starting to decrease, whereas the complex applications are tending to remain reasonably high. So it depends on how that dynamic plays out and where we're at with contractor support. So we have procured a number of new contractors to support complex applications. So it appears that those contractors tend to do work in the North Island. That work is slowing down and they're becoming available to other markets like ours. So we'll be looking to continue to support our staff with the use of contractors through that time.
And just the final question I had was around the eco design. Is there any sort of evaluation? I mean, obviously it's good that people are using the consultations, but is anyone sort of monitoring what the result is of those consultations in terms of the impact on the design and what that means in terms of what's being built?
Not in a tableized form, but we can get that. We can provide that information if you want some. Yeah, I mean, we have the individual feedback from various applicants who appreciate the service, but other than reviewing that feedback, we don't tend to survey.
Okay, and does that include advice around things like rainwater tanks or greywater collection tanks?
No, this is usually aligned to energy efficiency.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, would you like to move it, Tim? Yep. And, yeah, I'm going to come to that, but would someone second it? Yeah, Pauline, right. I've got Pauline and then Phil.
Questions appropriate. No, I'll ask it anyway, and if you can't answer it. But I was following on from Yanni's water one. I noticed that during the Edgware flooding information that came back from staff, the question was asked that there was a big set of units built right adjacent to the stream, the St Albans stream, and what was the effect of that on increasing the water going into that waterway. And it turns out that they'd had to put water tanks under the units. So is that an occurrence that's happening quite frequently, or do you know?
It comes down to the individual application, the scope and nature of each building consent application.
Right.
So obviously we've got the council has a set of engineering and stormwater requirements that sit above and beyond the building code.
Yeah.
The building code requires that the stormwater gets discharged to the satisfaction of the network utility operator.
Yeah.
So as part of the consent process, we consult with the engineering services unit, who will then specify the requirements to their satisfaction for the disposal of the stormwater to the network.
Great.
And often it incorporates that type of requirement.
Yeah, I didn't realise that, so it's really good to know, actually. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there are some joined up processes. Yep.
Thanks, Robert. Hey, just following along when you said the capacity of the rest of New Zealand is dropping off a bit, so it gives us a wee bit more people to play with, so to speak, down here. Is it helping the pressure on staff, because you guys must have been really under the pump over the last long time, a year or so? Is it making it slightly easier for you guys?
Yeah, certainly, because it's been incredibly difficult to recruit staff to work in the higher complex areas that we're experiencing. So while we've done a really good job at recruiting some outstanding new prospects, they need time to go through the process. So it's not just a matter of one person in, one person out, another person in. So with the nature of the high level of complex applications, it's critical that we get contractor support for that level. Having said that, they are equally as under pressure as we are.
Yeah, but it's not as manic as it was.
Doesn't appear to be.
Oh, that's good, because you guys don't need any more pressure thrown on you. Yeah.
No, but we're making good inroads, and the staff have been really diligent in how they've gone about it. Because at the end of the day, the applications still need to be checked thoroughly.
I mean, that's actually a really good point to end on with it, because if you don't get that right, then council exposes itself to becoming a party to proceedings, even if they're not the primary one. Leaky building is one that comes to mind immediately. Yanni, did you have another question?
Just wondering if we could just add a note around the eco design service, because I'm pretty sure we've got a resolution somewhere around the use of rainwater.
Yanni,
So
look,
are we able just to get some
I
advice back on
I
that?
don't want to. There is a new council going to be elected to office, and I recommend that you raise it with the incoming council. I don't want to put more work on this department after everything we've just listened to. I mean, some of us heard what was said, and it was really crystal clear. They are under enormous pressure, and they're doing the best that they can. I do not want them to spend a minute writing a report that may not be required and certainly won't be received by this council.
It wasn't
I'm
a
ruling it
report.
out of order. So it's been moved by Tim. It's been seconded by Pauline. Is there any debate? Yanni?
Yeah, so like, I don't think it was fair to have that ruled out of order, but it's really good that we're doing an eco-design service. I think that's fantastic. And for those of us that supported the thing and have heard submissions from people in the past over excess water charges, over our water strategy, we've heard really clear, and climate change strategy actually, we've heard really clear that people want us to improve and make it easy to understand how people can actually collect rainwater and reuse grey water on their private properties. And so I think that we should be looking to do that. We've got a great service set up. It's not to create more work on the consenting department, but the eco design service that we have, I don't know why you wouldn't actually want them looking at how you could encourage the uptake of rainwater collection on individual properties. And if that's something that we've already asked as a council for advice on, we've already got it in our strategies as something that's important, and yet we haven't somehow joined the dots. So, but anyway, I appreciate the work that staff are doing. I am a little bit concerned with the notification that we may see a huge influx, and I just hope that at the appropriate point, staff would be able to let us know if they are seeing some trends based on that, and make sure that we can try and support them to mitigate any sort of targets that are being challenged because of it. So, but thank you for the update from staff. I think it's really good to get the feedback on the eco design service. It would be good at some stage in the future to get more information on it.
I just want to make a couple of comments myself, which are in relation to the fact when I arrived as the mayor, the building consent authority status was being run by a statutory manager, and the reason was that we'd lost our capacity to issue consents, which is appalling and the biggest rebuild ever. This department has reinvented itself, reimagined itself, and is now operating at an extremely high level. We've seen the reality of the number of consents that are coming in and the impact that they've had. But if anyone thinks that consents is the only part of their role, when they're responsible for earthquake-prone buildings, when they're responsible for all of these other issues that are highlighted in this report, and I just wanted to take the opportunity very briefly to say congratulations. I'm very proud of the work that you've been doing, and keep up the good work. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Robert.
And can I reply with a gratitude of the support we've had from around the table, and particularly the top table. Thank you very much.
Thank you.